Hi, and welcome to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Member Connection. I am your host, Eric Knowles. But before we get started, a word from one of our supporters.
Miami-Dade College has career paths in anything you want to be. What's your story? Be global. Be cutting edge. Be inventive. Be investigative. Be a hero. What do you want to be? Be the best. Be you. Be MDC.
Welcome back, and you already know the deal. I am excited. I'm excited about building Black and brown businesses, women-owned businesses, and I'm always excited about our guests. But this special guest is my man, Mr. Dexter Bridgeman. How are you?
I'm great, brother. Always good to be with you.
Always, man. You've just been growing leaps and bounds. MIA, Legacy, and we've been here before. But for those who don't know Dexter Bridgeman, let them know who. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I'm a transplant from New York City. Been here for 21 years. I decided when I came down here, didn't have any idea of what I was going to do. But as things would have it, I started a media company. And 21 years later, we are one of the largest distributors of Black content in the United States of America. And we do that by providing 3 different platforms. We have a digital platform where we send out a newsletter four times per week. And then we also got into the world of broadcasting, where now I own and produce 6 shows that are on network television here. And then my last platform, we were a print publication up until December of 2024. Now we've transitioned our print into a digital print platform. So it is more of an e-edition and doing quite well. So and that everything that I'm talking to you about now is hosted on our website, which is the main distributor of our content.
Okay. That's a lot going on.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts.
A lot of moving parts, and obviously there are you got a lot of folks behind the scenes.
Yes,
and not necessarily behind the scenes. You got a lot of folks in front of the
scenes as well.
Yeah, and go ahead.
Well, like I say, no man is an island, and I certainly could not do it by myself. Do I know how each aspect of the job is? It's just like you. You know every aspect of running the chamber. But you don't want to do Beverly's job.
I can't do. Right, I can't do.
Nobody can do Beverly's job, right? Let me put it like that. Yeah, nobody can do Beverly's job.
I can't do
best of what she does.
I can't do Matthew's job.
Exactly.
Matthew provides a technical assistant. I can't do Paris's job.
That's my point. Exactly.
And Vernon's job. I as I said, I'm the head bottle washer, so I keep the dishes clean.
Amen. Amen. Same
because
here.
I think about it like when we talk about this, we're just having a conversation.
Right.
I remember when I was in the Army. I went in the Army when I was 17 years old, and basic training. And the thing about it, we would have an inspection every day. Now, everyone had to. You had to line up your boots right.
Mm-hmm.
Your bed had to be made right. I wasn't making everybody's bed, but I went around and made sure that the beds were made.
Right. Otherwise, right.
And the bathroom was cleaned properly. I literally went behind everybody and did that. But the thing about it, it's not going behind everybody because you trust everybody to do their job.
Right.
And that's one thing about being a CEO is trusting having the right people to do the job that you hired them from. Talk about that a little bit.
Man, let me tell you something. I would say more than half, 3/4 of our jobs, if you're the CEO, president, what have you, is finding and maintaining good people. And once you have a good person, you want to make sure they're happy, and you want to grow them, and you want to give them opportunities and what have you. And that's, I always tell people, I run my business the same way as the Miami Herald, the Sun Sentinel, Hearst Publications, Washington Post. I got the same issues they do, except they're a hell of a lot bigger than me.
And got deeper pockets.
They got a lot more people working, but at the same time, I may be in a smaller pool. They may be in the Pacific Ocean.
Right.
You know, their world is Pacific Ocean. Mine may be a river or a lake, you know.
Right. Right.
But at the same time, I have the same demands and the same issues that they have. But having good people really, really makes all the difference in the world. And I'm a person, you know, I'm not going to look over your shoulder. I don't have time.
Exactly.
I don't have the time to
I'm
do
pretty
that.
much, I'm a hands-off manager.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
micromanaging.
No.
And again, you hire people to do the work, and you expect them to do the work.
You know, you just like me. Well, our job is to make it rain, right?
True.
One of our jobs,
True.
one of our main jobs is to make it rain.
Right.
Excuse the expression,
Right.
ladies and gentlemen. But in other words, bring in the money.
Coming down, what Rihanna say?
And if I'm involved in every other aspect
can't do that.
intimately, then you know what? You know, and that's why I tell them, listen, if I got to constantly be looking over your shoulder, then you know what?
Why did I hire you?
Right,
Right.
Exactly. And that enables me from doing what I do best.
Right.
And that's bringing the dollars.
Right.
You know, and if you're going to prevent me from bringing the dollars, then I don't need you.
You know, you're absolutely right.
You know,
and you know, and again, we were talking about the fact that you got a lot of people who aren't behind the scenes. You got people in front of the scenes. And when you started the well, it's all media. When you started the TV aspect,
yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I tell you, you know,
I like 4, 5, 6, 7 different shows.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We have 6 different shows, and now one of the things that I own and actually own and produce, and now we're going to be, and then we have a 7th show which we produce on for a gentleman, and that's Jefferson Noel. He has a show called Barbershop Speaks.
Right.
So we produce the show, and it appears during our time spots on Sunday mornings. And then we just contracted with University of Miami and Dr. Kenya, the sexologist.
Right.
So she's going to have a show on our network as well.
Okay.
And that's where I think I will be going in that direction, as far as, you know, I'm in talks now with several other people so they can have their own show during my time frame, because television, as you well know, it's all about having the inventory.
Absolutely.
And you know, I have 6 shows, but the network that I'm on has inventory for only 3 shows during that time frame that I'm on, from 11 to 1 on Sundays. So it's like asking, you know, which child do you love the most? You know,
Okay.
No parent's going to say, well, I love Michael or Denise more than the others.
Right.
So I rotate those shows every other Sunday to make sure they have 2 and 2, you know?
Well, you know, it's interesting. Obviously, we grew up when there was ABC, NBC, and CBS.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That was it.
And then PBS came along somewhere
Yeah.
in the middle, and I don't know where it was, in the late 70s. HBO came along, and Cinemax, and now you got Peacock, you got Hulu, you got all these other. How do you fit into that?
Well, that's a direction. All these other networks, Peacock, Hulu, Tubi, they have streaming opportunities, and that's where I want to go. That's the next step for me, is to take my shows and stream them on, because they're all looking for content.
Right.
They're all looking for content, new content, fresh content. So that's my next iteration. And one of the things I also want to do is in a year or 2, I want to be in movie production. I want to start producing some movies, and you know, I want to start doing it here.
Right.
You know? So that's the next.
I might have some ideas for you.
Yeah, I know you do. I
have some ideas for you. But you know, we're going to take a little break.
Sure.
We're going to get back and talk about MIA and some of the awards that you're doing, Legacy Magazine, and I want you to talk about those shows. We kind of said it, but tell people about those shows. We'll be right back on the other side.
Learn and earn today at Miami-Dade College. College graduates earn 56% more than high school graduates and $1 million more in lifetime earnings. A degree from MDC is your path to greater earning power and career success. Choose from hundreds of affordable high-tech and in-demand career programs, including cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, business, and nursing. Learn and earn today at MDC and fast-track your career. Enroll now at mdc.edu/purpose.
And welcome back to the Miami-Dade Chamber Member Connection. I am your host, Eric Knowles, and I'm here with the Dexter Bridgeman, the media guru who is doing his thing, growing his empire. And I'm going to say, you know, he is growing an empire. I've seen he started with MIA Magazine and Legacy, and now he's into, he's got 6 shows that he has on. And he's talking about creating movies moving forward. He's talking about streaming. We're talking about Hulu and Tubi and all these other Peacock and the streaming that goes on these shows. And Peacock is a part of NBC. And so MIA Magazine, and I know you recognize individuals in our community throughout the year in different areas. We talk about the educators. We talk about the lawyers, the doctors, the professionals. Talk about, why did you start that?
Well, one of the reasons why I started, when I moved down here, I moved down here in 2004, and at that time, that was the boom, the real estate boom,
right,
in South Florida. And everyone I met, it could have been, you know, the president of Burger King, and he'd say, "Hey, my name is John Smith. I'm the president and CEO of Burger King. By the way, I sell real estate." Like, okay. You know, I mean, it really was like that.
Right.
I mean, everyone I met had a real estate card. Oh, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a banker, I'm a teacher, I'm a this, that, and the other. By the way, here's my real estate card in case you're looking to buy a home, you're looking to lease an apartment, whatever the case may be. So shortly after that, the Miami Herald had an issue that came out with their top realtors, in South Florida. And it was like 50 people. And of the 50 people, it might have been like let's say 45 of them were either white or Hispanic men.
Mm-hmm.
And then they may have had 3 white women and 2 Hispanic women. And you know, I met a lot of Black people who were selling real estate, a lot of them. And you mean to tell me not one Black person can make that list? Not one?
Right.
So it bothered me. And I said, you know what, coming from a publishing background in New York, and that's not something I intended to do here. Being an entrepreneur in the publishing world, media world, I said, you know what, I'm going to start a publication. And it's going to recognize and honor those individuals in the Black community who are doing their thing. And I remember talking to a very high-ranking media professional that was Black, and I told him about the idea. He says, "Well, I think the idea is good, but you'll be lucky to find 2 people." And I'm like, I was so, you know, I wasn't. When I say turned off, I was turned off by him,
Right,
not
right.
turned off by the idea.
Right.
So I'm like, I know there's more, obviously a whole lot
and,
more.
And
you know,
you know, that's it's been the knock on Miami. You know, we're
Yeah.
not Atlanta, we're not DC, where you see in New York, you see prominent Black folks, and they're noted in the community.
And the reason for that is because of people like myself. New York is the media capital of the world, but not only are they the media capital of the world, they have a lot of Black-owned media companies, newspapers, magazines. I'm not talking about just your Essence magazine,
Right.
which is a national publication that's located there.
Things that you don't see out in your face.
Right. I'm talking about the local publications,
Right,
the local news media magazines as well. Same thing with Atlanta. They've got numerous Black-owned media companies that are focused in on Atlanta.
Right.
So I would have to say that in the community, from what I found out, that the Black entities at that point in time, they didn't focus in on a lot of our heroes and sheroes or those individuals. Like, what is MIA Media Group as a whole with all my platforms? Real simple. we editorialize the success and the achievement of the Black community.
Okay.
Real simple. And that means that, we just came out with our signature issue where we unveil the most powerful and influential Black business professionals in all of South Florida. We have a Miami issue that's specifically for Miami, and we have what we call a South Florida issue, which is for Broward and Palm Beach. And on June 11th, we'll be having our reception to honor these individuals. We also do a 40 under 40 issue. We do an issue that honors and recognizes our Black doctors and healthcare professionals, as well as educators.
Right.
So people are always saying to me, when are you going to do a 50 and over 50 or 60 over 60? I'm like, you're not going to ever do one of those, because you know what? That's all a part of the power issue.
Right.
Know?
Right. So let's go back to these 6 platforms that you have. Talk about them a little bit. I know you got Chef Irie.
Yes.
You got Dr. Delvina.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So we have, of the 6 shows, we have them produced just about every day. We have, starting with our Monday show, which is hosted by a gentleman by the name of Jay Reynolds, and that show is called The Business of Black Business. And that show is all about, very similar to this, highlighting and profiling our Black success stories, getting those golden nuggets, and talking about, hey, what was that moment of adversity, and how did you overcome it? So that's what that show is all about. Tuesday, we have a show called My Money, Your Money, and we talk about issues of finance and wealth management and personal finance as it relates to the Black community, because we all know that we don't keep money in our community very long, and we don't plan for the long game, for the future. So that show comes on Tuesday. Wednesday is probably, all of our shows do well, but this particular individual, everybody knows her, and she is just kind of taking the world by storm with this show. And that's the show called Soul. Now, some people will say, oh yeah, Fox has a show like that called Fox Soul, but we were doing Soul before Fox Soul started doing it. Okay. That's a fact. We do this. Our show was on the air 6 months before Fox Soul. And that show is hosted by Nikki Jellin. And everybody knows Nikki G, and she's just done a phenomenal show and a phenomenal job. And that show deals with issues of fashion, arts and culture, relationships, and mental health. And Dr. Delvina, another person that everybody knows here, she's one of the co-hosts, and she talks about the relationships and as relates to mental health. And then we have another woman by the name of Imani Warren, who's one of the co-hosts, and she deals with arts and culture. Thursday is we have 2 shows. It comes on at 2 different times, and that's with Chef Irie, where we go around and we do reviews of great restaurants in South Florida. And then we have Legacy Leaders, where we will meet with people like yourself who are thought leaders of national and local, dealing with issues impacting the Black community. And then Friday is our show that's called Black Health, and that's with Dr. Michelle Kerwin. The Black community is unfortunately number 1 or number 2 in just about every health issue in our country, every ailment, whether it's high blood pressure, diabetes, you know the story. And so that show is hosted by Dr. Kerwin. So we kind of cover the gamut, so to speak.
That's a lot, and proud of you and how you have grown. I know you mentioned about one of the shows, and one of the questions was, how did you overcome adversity? We don't really have enough time to talk about that. We're going to bring you back on so we can talk about that, because I know it hasn't all been roses and
no, it has not.
Wine and roses.
No, it has not.
How can someone get in touch with you?
Very simple. I'll give you my personal email address, my email address at dab@miamediagrp.com. Phone number is 305-412-9600, extension 700. And you can also go and check out our website at miamediagrp.com.
Man, again, I'm proud of you, and I've watched you grow, your empire, as I said, and I
Thank you.
look forward to the streaming that is yet to come. I'm looking forward to the film
Yep.
that is yet to come. Appreciate you and your time.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Member Connection. If you want to get in touch with the Chamber, you go to m-dcc.org, or you can call the Chamber at 305-751-8648. See you the next time. Today, I stand before you, a proud graduate of Miami-Dade College and the 5th president of the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. I'm honored to return to the college that prepared me to become a leader in our community, providing an education second to none. So I'm asking you to please tune in every Monday at 12 noon to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce's Member Connection, as I interview members of the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce on our Facebook page at Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce or our YouTube channel, Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. To learn more about the Chamber, please go to m-dcc.org or call the Chamber at 305-751-8648.